Warning: the following episode of That Mental Ginger Show contains strong language and adult themes.
Alright, troops.
This episode of That Mental Ginger Show is recorded at Scuff Studios in Swanston Street, Glasgow. If you're looking to do podcasts, music, or any creative passions, these guys will have you covered. For more information, contact Scuff Studios at scuff.studios.gla@gmail.com or find them on Facebook or Instagram and drop them a message. Scuff Studios, to nurture your creative passions. Hello and welcome to That Mental Ginger Show with your host Andrew Durning, aka The Mental Ginger. Well, my faithful followers, you were so excited to get a Scottish rapper on that I went out and got you a couple more. Literally, it's like the 2.5 men of rap. Please welcome Scotland metal rap genre's favourite trope. I think there is only 3. Monkey Puzzle.
What's happening, man?
How you doing?
How you guys doing, man? It's great having you on, guys.
No,
Yeah,
thank you for having us, mate.
I know there was meant to be 4, but one was currently at a rave, so we're assuming that he's either dead or in jail.
That's a
Possibly
safe
both.
assessment.
Yeah, possibly, yeah. No, I really appreciate you guys coming on, man. Recently became a fan of your work. After you sent me the work and went, listen to it.
So you make about 1 or 2 fans now. Like,
Well, I always said at the start of this I had 3 faithful followers, and now I've had to ditch the 3 because I'm up to at least 10.
that's
So we'll get to double digits, guys. We'll do it together.
Let's do it, mate.
1, 2.
Right.
Hang, bro.
And Robin, right?
Right. So what I like to do, guys, is I like to get my guests to tell me about their origin stories because, one thing we've all got in common is that we have an origins.
Mhm.
So, Monkey Puzzle, please tell us your origin story. You
So-
can either do individual or you can do the band, as long as we don't need to hear about, what position your dad was in when he, but- So, which one of you want to take the lead on that one?
So, we can all take wee different bits of this because
You start.
So,
Right, well, we'll start with the basics. Tell them all, what are your actual names? I just can't keep calling you Monkey.
of course, mate. So I'm Connor.
I'm Ross.
And I am Luke.
Are you?
Yep.
Fuck.
You're thinking of the other guy, but it's not
So-
him.
was.
And Lewis, who is not here, is the drummer.
Sounds about right. Those damn drummers.
Yeah.
Should have just kept Stuart Hay over, he's a drummer.
Is he?
Yeah.
Jesus. Last
Yeah.
time I saw him, he was on stage, he was playing with DJ Lethal.
Well, in fairness, he does play a lot of instruments, and he was like, "No, getting big head." I'm like, "Get as big head as you want, man."
Yeah.
I'm getting loads of decent tickets on now. It's brilliant. I've had Stuart Hay, I've got Monkey Puzzle, I've got Wee D, I've had Wee John Steele.
Biggest ticket of all.
Yeah, that didn't sound right saying I've had Wee John Steele. In fairness, yeah, that was when we were 16, but that's another story for another day.
But haven't we all?
Well, he was on a lot of eckies. Right, so, start us off, man.
Monkey Puzzle, I was a bit of a secretive rapper as a child, let's say that, so I was quite ashamed of it, quite ashamed of rapping in a Scottish accent, and I confided in my pal Lewis about it, who was a drummer, and he thought it was really cool, the only person that ever thought so. So he was
I
like,
thought you would have been more saying the fact that your name's Connor, but you've only got one N.
oh no, Irish and proud, mate.
My second kid is called Connor as well.
2 N's.
But he's got the 2 N's, but that was my fault. His dad named him wrong.
You just let him
Sorry,
down,
mate.
mate.
Well, I've let him down since birth. I might as well keep going.
So we basically, he was like, let's go to the studio. I want to play drums and I want you to rap on it. And that's how we kind of kicked it off. At the time, we went by the name of Cone Nips and Buddha Belly for some reason. And, so that was our name at the time.
What year was that when you formed it?
Well, we were both
16.
16?
16, I think.
16, so
Yeah.
that would have been 13 years ago.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, man.
I don't like that maths. Do the maths. Do the maths differently.
You're old now. Like,
Because I say it just sounds like such a 2000s name as well.
yeah, so that would
I
have been...
definitely had that Limp Biscuit vibe about it.
Yeah, I mean, it was funny. We never really started off like we were both mad into Insane Clown Posse at the time.
Nice.
So, like, an even worse band in some respects.
If these guys come and sue me, I apologise.
No, I love ICP. Juggalo for
First
life,
stage
man.
juggalos now, mate.
Yeah. Mate, Juggalo for life. Always. Like, but
No, I said
So-
I'm more actual jiggle. Respect the dad bod.
So
as I say.
we had we made some songs together that were a bit shite, and then at the time you were playing guitar with Lewis in the studio, just doing guitar and drums.
Yeah, more or less. I'd kind of just picked up guitar and probably, yeah.
I could see you playing guitar. No, you've got a very like you know the band Flutter Red.
I can't say I do.
Well, Flutter Red were like kind of our big ticket band when we were growing up. And their guitarist Callum Doris, when he had hair, you've got a very Callum Doris vibe.
Yeah.
What about you when he had hair? He was also a very good looking guy.
Think
You're all very good looking in fairness. Well, there's more of you to love.
That's it. So you were in a band with him called Slutty Pumpkin Apocalypse.
That's what it was, yeah.
Definitely a 2000s name right there.
And yeah, so basically we weren't even, I don't even know if at that point you could call us a band, we were basically just playing covers because I hadn't long started playing the guitar and it was just basically an idea for both of us to go and jam.
Yeah.
So that's what we were doing. And then I think he must have seen some sort of vision to eventually smash us together.
Yeah, so then he thought, why don't we just all play together? So we got in the studio and decided we didn't need a bass player. Like, we just didn't need one because we were 16 and stupid.
Well, in fairness, I've interviewed quite a few bass players, so if you're looking. It just seems to be, and that probably just sums up my show for bass players.
Looking upset there.
I'm not even a bass player, mate. I just happen to play bass.
What do you do in this band?
Well, it clearly sits and comes on the podcast.
That's it.
There we go.
Just all about that fame. No, so we got in and we started kind of jamming together, and we kind of, I mean, at the time we wanted to sound like Zebrahead.
That was
Zebrahead?
initially the plan.
that.
Because we were way into, like, I mean, you guys were way into pop punk. They all had like Cupcake Cult t-shirts and like
Yeah.
fringes and shit, and I was still like, very much
Oh,
a bit
was
of a hip hop kid at the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, dye my fringe different colour every other
To
week.
match with your
to match,
shoes.
to match my shoes.
Yeah, man, that was the days. And so we wanted to sound a bit like Zebrahead, kind of pop
Yeah.
punky rapping, and then it kind of didn't.
Because I wasn't
I
good
remember
enough
the
at the
first
guitar
time that
to
I
do
heard
that.
Zebrahead, and it was on Legends of Wrestling in the PS2.
Yeah.
Falling Apart.
Oh,
One of the
tune,
song-
man.
As well
Absolute
as
tune.
there was a song on it, and I hated the game, but I loved the soundtrack.
Yeah.
Because it had Zebrahead, Trapped, all your proper like 2000s bands,
Yep.
like kind of metal, rap metal. And I love Zebrahead. Well, I think my favourite track is Hello Tomorrow.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
man. Oh,
Love
that
it.
tune, man. I've not heard
Love
it in
it.
years actually. But we kind of get into that, and then it kind of went down this road of like, well, what other bands do this whole rap and metal thing, and then you open up that Pandora's box,
Yes.
and then that's you just wearing baggy trousers till you're 30. Like,
Did you have the chain as well? Long chain?
no, I never did. Lewis still rocks the chain.
Lewis does the chain. Lewis is the chain guy. in the
He's the
band.
chain guy. Yeah.
He's,
You only
I
have
thought you were
one. Otherwise, it's too many chains.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say he was on the chain gang, and I'm like, that's a different topic for a different.
Well, after last night. But yeah, so that's kind of what happened. We went down this route, and then we went through, like, so we had another member at one for 2 sessions,
For 2 sessions,
Two
'cause
sessions.
we decided rather than we just do 2 guitars.
2 guitars, because we
Does
were
that make
stupid.
sense?
That's what you do.
And so we get 2 guitars in. He wrote one of our most popular tunes, which was really weird. He helped write Junkie Punch, didn't he?
I think he did, yeah.
I think that's kind of where that came up. He was in 2 sessions, helped write that, and then was gone.
Yep.
Then we had another member who was in the band when we never gigged. So that was our pal Chaz. He was in for a while.
A wee bit, yeah.
He wrote quite a few things-ish, and then we replaced him with Dom, who was a pal of ours for school. So he joined, and he was the bassist for about 2 or 3 years.
About that, yeah.
And then, he wanted to go off and do his own thing, and I think he wanted to go travelling, and it ended up clashing. And so we're still pals to this day. So he went off travelling, and we got this man in to play bass.
Well, let's dive into this man. That sounds so wrong, I apologise.
Whatever you're into, mate.
Hey, when you're married and kids, you take what's going. Well, it's the glasses, man. The glasses are just so. Another day.
Okay then.
But-
I'll take that in the chin. mate.
this is that Mental Ginger Show making guests awkward since 2020. So tell me a bit about when you came out in the band as well. So were you just like, do you need a bass player and hop on? Or
No, I met so our drummer Lewis. I met him at college. We went to it's called the Academy of Music and Sound in Glasgow, just next to it's above Sub Club actually. Do you know what the top floor
I
of
know
that
where you
building
are,
is?
yeah.
So we were both there, and it's like a university, I guess, that bases on live music performance. So I'm in playing guitar, and I'm in and Lewis, our drummer's in to learn drums like me and shit like that. And it just so happened that we were the 2 quietest guys in the class. So the first project they get you to do is go, right, start a band with your classmates, because it's live performance and they put you on gigs and shit like that. And then there's like the 2 of you sitting with no confidence to talk to anybody else.
Yeah.
So just by like happen stands for like, right, what do you play? Oh, I play guitar. What do you do, man? Oh, I play drums, sorry. And then you fucking just start talking. It turns out we just loved all the same tunes. And then fucking friendship grew really quick. And then, fuck, man, we've been in a few bands together. First band I was in with Lewis, and this is kind of continuing a trend of, I think us as like a group of people are really similar. And it was kind of nice that, well, obviously I joined the band and became pals with these guys, but there's this thread of like really shit band names.
Yeah.
This band that I was in with Lewis was called Celestial Spew Canoe.
That is still my favourite band.
Celestial Spew Canoe.
Yeah.
And that was like a big 80s glam rock hair metal thing with the tights, the hairspray, everything, mate.
I could so like see you doing it, like, rocking that out just because of the hair.
To be fair, they were shit hot.
That's
Like,
and then
It's like the band name shit, the actual guy lining up shit hot.
yeah.
and
Much
then
better band than us. Should stay with that one, mate.
aye, and that progressed. Then we were in another hair metal band called Carbonite. But we spelt it differently because it's metal if you change the letters around, do you know what I mean?
Oh, I like, yeah.
K instead of a C, Y instead of an I.
I thought you were going to say like Carbonite with a C, it would be with a K.
Yeah.
It was.
It
It
was.
did have a K in it.
Aye, and then fucking, I just that never worked out. I don't think there's a big audience for like dad rock, hair metal, glam bands.
I am
that
dad.
scene.
Well, I need that in my
It's the
life.
same, man. That's my bread and butter, all that shit. And I just so happened that they needed a bass player, so I thought I can readapt.
Yeah.
I used to play bass. But coming at it for like a guitar player's approach, and then just kind of slotted in, and it's just been magic ever since.
I mean, he didn't even just slot in, he dove in head first. He showed up to a practice with dreadlocks at one point.
Nice.
Like, he went to full on new metal. Like, just like, he's like, no, I'm committing to this 100%.
He's like, I'm the white corn.
Yeah, man, he just, they are white.
I thought they had a bit more like that about them, but yeah.
They're
Well,
white.
again, I've already been cancelled about 12 times. I mean, the first time I'm meeting this guy, I was like, all right, Scottish Rami Malek. So yeah, I'm definitely like screwed when it comes to that. But I get bass players always seem to be very versatile with, you know, almost everything imaginable, because when I was doing like the Ouija Warriors cover to raise money for mental health, but we had a bass player lined up, he didn't turn up to the first rehearsal. And we John Steele, who has came along to support Monkey Puzzle today. Only fair to give him a shout out. So he was coming, he was going to do like the rap part of it, but we hadn't got to that stage yet. And I was like, Steele, you play bass, don't you? He went, I kinda. I was like, well, play bass for us.
It's kind of like how we get you as well, wasn't it? Like, do you play bass? Kinda. I can drink. You're in, mate. Like,
his case was like, I can do the simple stuff really well. And I went, well, I'm simple, so you're in. And that was him. Bass, rap, he was all over the schedule. So how did the name Monkey Puzzle come about?
You know this one better than me.
Yeah, so I think basically at that point it was me, you, Lewis, and at that point Chaz.
Lewis seems to be the kind of glue that's held it together.
Yeah.
He's out at a rave.
Funnily enough, actually through this podcast, I think I've realised Lewis is maybe more pivotal than I thought he was.
But it could be something they can hold against him. Like, you know, the first podcast and interviews the band we done, and the main guy that pulled us all together just decided to go out and get pissed.
I mean,
that's
to
I'm
be
proud
fair,
of him.
that's
Yeah, man. I mean, it's one of those things. He was so upfront about it. He's like, "Can't make it, guys? I'm going to rave."
going to
It was like,
graduate,
"Cool,
aye.
man. Like, that's fine. We can go."
At least there was honesty. I got to admit that.
Openness, man.
There's a prerequisite, I think, when kind of like, I guess it was like an audition for the band. Like, you have to smash cans. If you can't smash cans with, then
Yeah.
it's probably not going
Ain't
to be a
gonna
good
work.
fit.
Yeah.
So I think in true Monkey Puzzle fashion, he'd blocked this weekend off ages ago, and he's like, I'm just going out to get fucked.
Yeah.
And,
Fair
and we're
enough.
like, we've got a podcast on the Sunday, mate, and he's just like, I won't be like
Yeah, he kind of was just
I'll
like,
be
I'm
dead.
not even going to pretend to you that I'm going to be in any fit state to make this.
I don't think we ever want that to happen. I think that's one of the priorities. It's like, I'm going out and I'm getting drunk. Oh, well, that takes priority more than anything else. You do that.
It does sound pretty legit reason. But we could have sold breakfast at Tiffany's them and just like had him like, you know, propped up unconscious and just been like, so Lewis, tell us about this, and he just raises a hand and then puts it back down.
Let's get some string on him.
Definitely.
He does love Pinocchio.
Brilliant. Right, so the Monkey Puzzle name.
Yeah, so I think we were in a train coming back from our studio, and we were doing the thing that we'd been doing basically for the last kind of couple of months of just naming sort of kind of fake cover band-esque type names of what we were going to name ourselves for a joke, like kind
Yeah.
of Soggy Hobnob, Wheat instead of corn, and things like that.
Yeah, you just-
I think I suggested, I think it was Monkey Puzzle at one point rather than Slipknot because of the knot.
Yeah.
And then Lewis went, that's not a monkey puzzle, that's a monkey fist. Monkey Puzzle's a tree. And then kind of there was this moment where we all kind of stopped and went, Monkey Puzzle's actually an alright name.
Yeah.
And then it was kind of just like it kind of grew arms and legs from there.
Yeah.
And I remember walking back after we got off the train, and I don't know if it was you, Lewis, but if we did a big show, we could have like a person in a gorilla suit, like running around in the audience,
Yeah.
in the
Oh,
crowd.
nice.
And
As soon as we got that name, all the things started slotting in because you're like,
Yep.
I just started doing graphic design at the time as well.
Oh, nice.
And I was like, oh, there's so many things you could do that, like a Rubik's Cube with loads of wee monkeys on it, which was ended up being our first logo.
Yep.
Yeah.
All this kind of stuff. And it just kind of fell into place because we like all the colour stuff you can do. So we kind of approached it for that. I mean, it wasn't like a pure moment where we went, oh, that's incredible. It kind of was just like, yeah, kind of like that. It's
Yeah.
better than Exploding Tank Brigade or Fossil Groove or all
These
these other
just sound
honking
like
names.
bands that would have been successful in the 2000s, like the proper
Yeah.
like rap metal kind of bands, doesn't it?
Yep, and,
Yeah.
and for the extra rap metal credentials, Puzzle already has Z's in it.
Yeah.
So-
There we go.
yeah,
Really,
Right, you've
but
got-
no V's.
no V's,
V's.
all Z's.
Yeah, but you could always just put like a random V at the end.
I
of
want
it.
to. I want to.
Well,
This has
don't
became
get
a
me started,
this has
man.
became a massive point of argument in the band.
Hey,
Gets into metalcore and starts changing everything to V's.
just have you know how like everybody's got like, the wee copyright symbol? Just do that, but put a V in it. What? And everybody will just think you're vegan. What? Nobody's vegan, are they?
She is.
Right, right. We're going to take a slight diversion because I'm intrigued with veganism.
Okay, go for it.
Right, why do you guys think that meat's murder but vandalism's okay? Because every time I see like a McDonald's advert
Uh-huh.
or a McDonald's sign, you get somebody going up going, vegan is murder, like, and graffitiing it. And I'm like, yeah, but arson's a felony.
Vegan is murder.
No, like, meat is murder, like, but yeah, arson's a felony.
I don't know.
And it's like,
I
you
would
just see it everywhere. I'm like, you guys could end up in jail. Like, and
Yeah.
then you've got no choice about meat.
I know, but I'd maybe argue I'd rather someone painted on me than killed me. So
This is it,
that would be my quick retort to that.
Or
That is the-
painted on you then burnt you down.
In fairness, they tried to do that to gingers for years. They just need to stick us in a tanning bed and we're screwed.
But I mean, that's pretty much it, isn't it, for the name?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, more or
no,
less.
no kind of like big like con story of like writing it with a backwards K and everyone goes, oh yeah, that's cool. It was just kind of
Yeah.
like, yeah, that kind of works, and then we kind of built it up from there.
We
Like,
did write Monkey Puzzle with the backwards M though.
Yeah. Not a lot of people know that.
Aye.
I find it so
Still
bad.
out for
That's just how I've got proof I've got a dad brain because I went, how'd you do an M backwards? Right, so what was your first gig?
Oh, first gig was Ivory Blacks, 2011.
I didn't want to do that.
Yeah, no, well, so we there was a band cutting about Glasgow at the time called Psychodelic. I don't know if you know them.
Yes, Stuart Hay, who was on the previous episode, was talking about Psychodelic
Yep,
as
yep.
well.
So
There's so much symmetry here.
we'd never really like, I'd never really heard them until I saw Limp Bizkit 2010 and they were supporting, and me and Lewis were at the show and we're like, that's mental, they're Glaswegian too, that's really
Yeah.
cool. So we looked them up. We'd already been a band for a few years and it ended up that we thought they were really good. So I'd been at ICW one night
Hey,
and Div, who was their front man, was DJing, and I was pissed. And I just decided to go up and just brass neck it and said, I'm in a rap metal band, mate. I'm in a rap metal band, and we'd love to play. We think you are amazing, just being a pure dick.
Yeah.
And he was like, that'd be cool. He's like, yeah, fuck yeah. Like, get me on Facebook. He's like, we've got a gig coming up in December. And my arse collapsed, man. Because we were in absolutely no state to play a show, right? We were, and I came up the road. I remember like going into the next studio session, like sheet white, going, I think I've got us a gig, boys. and we had never really intended on gigging at this point.
Yeah.
I think
I
that
didn't
we were
want
just
to.
doing it for fun.
Yeah.
And I were like, guys, a gig, boys. And they were like, fuck, what is it? And I was like, it's with Psychodelic. And they were all like, we need to do it, don't we? We need to do it. Because we'd all said to each other, like, this is how young we were at the time.
yeah,
And it's no discredit to Psychodelic, but to us that was unobtainable. We were like, that is the gig.
Yeah.
yeah.
If we get that gig, we'll be happy. And it was the first show, and we were like, I don't know how we're going to do this. So
Yeah.
we just went into panic mode and we practiced like hell. We wrote about 3 tunes for that show because
Yeah.
we didn't have enough material.
Oh no.
And we went to the show and then they cancelled playing. But we played anyway.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
were playing with these other 2 bands at Ivory Blacks. And it was a fucking train wreck, wasn't it? Like, really.
I don't know.
It was fine. It was a
I
first
look,
gig.
I look back on
Yeah.
it with fond memories.
Yeah, me too. I mean, it was like that kind of thing where we just were so young, man.
Yeah.
Do you know, like we were, and when I think we were about 20, and we'd never played on stage.
Were we?
Yeah, we weren't even 21 at the time. Like,
I didn't know. I thought we were younger than that.
maybe 19 or just 20. Like, but that was the kind of like, and regardless, and we played this show and we were tuning up, and the Ivory Black sound man, who was a bit notorious in Glasgow for being like a bit of a taskmaster. We were
Yeah, I've
playing,
heard about it.
and he was just like, "You're out of tune," and
That's me.
I'm in Dom were like, "No." He's like, "I used to tune pianos for a living, son. See if you were flying a plane, we'd all be fucking dead right now." And me and Lewis were just going, "Oh, we're going to die." But we went out and we played, and it went really well. Like, people thought we weren't shite.
Well,
They
that's
were
good.
very encouraging.
As shite.
We weren't as shite. Yeah, most people always used to say this for years. They used to go, "That's a lot better than I thought it was going to be."
People still say that to me.
Yeah, my mum says that about this podcast.
Yeah, that's
She says what the best one was. She said it sounded like I was listening to a real show.
Yeah, I've had that as well.
Yeah.
Like, sounds,
Yeah.
sounds like I was listening to an actual band.
What did you
Yeah.
expect? You know, like,
It's not my cup of tea, but it's good, aye. So it's no.
why don't you just write something nice for once?
It's like, does it have to be that much swearing?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we get that. We get that
Yeah.
one a lot, but they don't realise that's kind of how we.
It's how the youngins talk, man.
It's just how we get used to each
I
other.
like how you're calling yourself a youngin.
I'm young.
But,
Pushing
right,
it
well, I'm 34, so but I've got the brain of an 80-year-old. So I'm like, is that an internet?
The internet. A meme.
But a mammy.
See, but that was the first show, and then I would say though the first real show we played. Like after that one, we played loads of local shows. We didn't really record much. We did lots of live playing though. Like we played live all the time. And the second show we played was a death metal show. And
You're remembering far more of this than I am.
oh yeah, I was terrified.
I remember
of
that,
show.
but I don't remember the order and what these things happened.
I remember the first three in order.
Yeah.
And it was, we played this death metal show because a local promoter we were playing with like a month later had a dropout and asked if we could fill in. And we were like, yeah, we want to practice. And it was a death metal show and we were shitting ourselves because we were cutting up in fucking baggy tops and all that. And these guys all look like goat men, you know, and like they're all staring at you. And then we went up and we're like, yeah, we're going to do some hip hop stuff. And we're like, I'm going to die here. Like, and one of the goat men was very nice about us. He was just like, I really like Head PE and that. That was really cool. And that's like all anyone said to us the rest of the night. And we're like, we're going to go.
Yeah. But it's a thing with death metal, isn't it? Like, they look like they're going to, like, you know, kill you and all your family. But then you come up to them and they're like the sweetest, nicest people in the world. And they're like so polite with their P's and Q's and everything. And I'm like, how did this work?
Yeah, so that was kind of the start of it. And then after that, I think the third show we played was like sold out in Pivo.
Oh,
And-
Pivo.
Yeah.
Man.
And that was the first show where we felt like a real band because like I think we 120 tickets sold.
Wow.
Something like that.
It was huge.
It was that sort of us being friends with people that we'd never been in a band before, so we hadn't like
And
sort of exhausted our friends.
Everyone
list with
thought it was
this
really
shit.
cool because they're like, "Oh my, you're in a band," and I want to come to that. So
Yeah.
and then they never came again.
Right.
So, but that was kind of the origin, I guess, in a way.
At least they came for you guys. Like, when I do things like the theatre, like, oh, I'd love to come. Don't buy a ticket. And then there's about 3 people there in a 150 seater, and that's a fucking ball breaker.
Oh, that's what it's like now.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like back then, we hadn't exhausted our friends list.
Yes.
We were like, fucking these guys again.
You can't stop asking me to come to fucking gigs, man.
I know.
On a Tuesday night, God damn.
I know, like, I've got you guys look after kids, right? I'm up for work in about 3 hours.
And then your first show was supporting
It
OPM,
was indeed.
having as a half pipe guys.
Wow.
That was
So-
my first
Yeah,
foray into it.
that's definitely what my genre. That if I die before I wake, at least I hear and I can
Hell yeah.
skate.
That's it, man.
What? Except I couldn't even look at a skateboard without falling.
Yeah, man. I used to kind of trundle along in one just to like kind of look cool, but I could never do shit.
Yeah. I used to do it because like all the other guys had skateboards, and I was like, I don't think I can actually keep up with you like physically walking. What? So I remember the underground at Queen Street Station.
Yeah.
What? So it was me, my mate Billy, and a guy called Ross, who we called Trek. because he looked like Shrek. We're so inventive with our names back then. And they all decided to go down the skateboards. So one's on one side, one escalator, one's the other escalator, and I'm going down the middle, and I'm absolutely bricking it. And I'm like, oh, it's going too fast for me. I'm probably only going like half a mile, but I'm like, it's going too fast for me. Like, I need to. I'll grab onto one of the escalators. I grabbed onto the up escalator,
Oh my
and I
God.
went flying back. So all that the Billy and Ross saw was just my wee skateboard just trundling down and me going, ow. Busted up my arm, busted up my leg. But they still wanted to go to Glasgow, so I'm hopping along like this. I'm like, when are we going to get to fucking Forbidden Planet? It was crazy,
That's
man.
back when you're young enough that an injury like that you could kind of shake it off, and now it's like
Back.
8 weeks in bed.
Yeah, and not just a bed, a hospital bed.
Yeah, man.
So tell me about like when you dropped like your first kind of like records and stuff. This is me really showing me saying the records are like the digital downloads.
The
and all that
CDs.
stuff. Yeah, I still love CDs. They don't have them in cars anymore, and I'm raging.
Yeah, I know.
What?
Like, we've got 100 copies of Suck My Cack left, just sitting there. Like,
I'll take one.
oh, well, I'll send you one then, because I need to get rid of them.
Yeah.
So,
But see your entire back catalogue. A, promote it right now, and B, send me it because I'm promoting it.
don't listen to anything before Scum. Nah, that's not fair. Suck My Cack's class, but it's like, we went through such kind of large periods of not recording. We were a live band. We played live all the time, barely recorded, because we never had the money to do it. Because it was expensive, so we used to gig all the time, barely record. So we had a first demo EP, which was garbage, because I did it in my house. And I've never studied production. So it was
That's how
absolute
everybody
cack.
starts, though.
Yeah,
Like,
so-
start off like in a garage or something. That's the class
Yeah.
band move.
We did that first, then we did, so that was called Square One, and then we did Square 1.1, which was a re-recording of all that with a pal of ours when he was in college,
Yeah.
which was, it was fine at the time, and we got it for nothing. So
Nice.
we took that, and we rolled with that for a wee while, and then Suck My Cack was probably the big release in terms of that, because it came out about 2016, and at the time we'd been playing pretty big shows, and you'd just joined the band at that point, but he wasn't on the record.
I think, yeah, I joined and then that dropped and we were gigging off the
February,
back of it. But
aye.
like, I'm not anywhere on
No.
any of the previous releases.
Yeah,
So
So
I
it's
was
like,
Yeah,
we've,
still on.
we've dropped this album and it's getting gigs, and you've got to learn it in maybe like 3 minutes.
Yeah, so
yeah, well, I mean, it was good. I had like the material to learn the songs,
Yeah.
and then change the bass lines because.
well, just what you did.
Yeah.
Put your own artistic stamp
Yeah,
on it,
that's
as they say.
So as you joined, we were playing with OPM, and then we were supporting Crazy Town in December.
Oh man!
And then-
Come, my lady.
Yep.
Come,
Yep.
my
Yes, the Very Boys.
Yes.
So we'd had those two shows lined up, but the EP was already finished.
Yeah.
So we were like, we want to put it out in our own show, because every year we did a show called Mad Mental Music, and we were on to our third one at the time because of various delays, and we thought, well, we want to do our own show, so we moved that into February, onto Lewis's birthday, funnily enough, I
Yep.
think. And
Again, back to Lewis.
Yep. He's well, you know, drummer's the backbone of the band, and he's just the glue that holds it all together. So,
Our audio guy, Howie's a drummer. He appreciates that.
that's it, man. Like, it's, and you need a good backbone. So
Crucial, isn't it?
we went right, yeah. So we were like, right, February, we're going to do this, and we've got this venue called the Ark. Was it Ark at the
It
time?
was Shadow Sound.
Shadow
It was
Sound
Ark
at
at
the
one
time.
point. Yeah.
Don't know if you know it in Glasgow, but it was like a tin roof, like old
It's
kind of
it's down
tunnel.
to the drum shop in it.
Yeah, it's now
Like,
the Drum Central, I
It
think.
used to be called Drummers Only, right?
Drummers only.
But you
Yeah.
know how like down, I don't know what that bridge is called. You
Kingston
come down
Bridge.
Jamaica Bridge, Jamaica Street.
Yeah.
Across the
The
bridge, and
Jamaica
you've
Bridge.
got like the
I'm just picturing a bunch of
Jamaica
guys
Bridge,
like on reefer like that.
the really cool venue because they're built in like old. I don't know if they used to be bomb shelters or
It's
something.
tunnel. It's the tunnels underneath
Yeah,
that.
but it's all like the
Yeah.
sort
Corrugated
of
iron
domed
and shit.
corrugated iron.
Place was a shithole, like straight up shithole.
Awful.
But they did a bring your own booze thing. So we were like, My
Makes
Mental
up for it.
Music 3 is a house party. Everyone bring your own booze. We were handing out free drink at the show,
Yep.
and it sold out in what, a day.
Sold out.
Yeah.
Sold out.
I'm
I
surprised.
think,
It's
yeah.
Scotland. I'm surprised it didn't sell it in like an hour.
Yeah, so it sold out rapid. And
We did book it knowing it was a smaller capacity, knowing we probably will sell it out, but
Yeah.
we did not think that it was going to be a day.
no, it was so quick, and there was people there who we didn't really know. Well, we knew them enough, but people were buying it just for the sake of it. It was like, let's bring your own booze, and like, so it was cool, man. We were really at the start of a kind of peak as a band. So people came down. We had Milk opening up. We had Nishima, if you know those guys at all.
Yes.
We had Dead Sounds, who hip hop group that we love to bits. Like, so we'd been playing with those guys for years.
All these names you're dropping and you're slumming it in my podcast, guys. I really feel sorry for
No,
these
man,
right now.
like, no, stars fell quite a bit since. You know what I mean? But so,
It's just like, don't worry about it.
but like, so that was great, man. So we started off, and then Tuts offered as a headliner.
Yep.
After that, so it was all just going smashing at this point into 2017. So we didn't get back in the studio till 2018 at this point, and then real life happens. So real life happens. We did the recording. We thought we'd put it on ice for a wee bit. 2019 rolls around. Let's gear back up. Played with Sumo Psycho.
Yep.
And then we played with Uproar.
Nice.
And
my sister-in-law's gonna be so raging. She's a massive, and I mean massive fan of Uproar.
Oh yeah.
Signed T-shirts, signed albums, like the full shebang. Like,
They're our boys, man.
She's got my brother in it. Like, she's got me in it. So you can get Uproar on and really just stick it to my
Well,
sister-in-law.
now-
That sounds so wrong. But yeah, if you can get me Uproar for that
Now
Metal
of,
Ginger show, we're rolling here.
Now of 6 Years Silence is their name now. They've just
Oh, you
rebranded.
just dropped another one. Like,
Right.
I just got invited to hit their Facebook group through my
Well, they-
sister-in-law, and she's again massive fan.
Yeah, so that is Uproar basically. Like they
Yeah.
just they rebranded. But
Yeah.
so we played their show, and then we were like, right, 2019, we'll gear back up and get on it. 2020, and we're like, yeah, this year it's gonna be great.
Yeah, it's gonna be great, and I can
So,
see where this one's coming.
And then that thing happened.
Yeah, that thing that just
So-
won't go away. It's like turning into a bloody transformer now.
Yep. So Scum has been sitting on the back burner since 2018, just through circumstance, really.
That's quite good though, like, because when you bring that out, it's like a nice wee time capsule of life before everything hit the fan.
Yeah, man, I think so. It's definitely, and I think like because of the periods that went between our recordings, you can really hear that we've progressed as a band and as people every step of the way. Like, and then in this one, it's like just raging. It's just raging. Like,
Well, that again, it sums up everything we just went through. Like, we're all raging.
oh hell yeah.
So Scum finally got a release date
This Friday.
this Friday. So because I also have to drop my episodes a bit out of schedule because I've still got a wife and kids to pretend I still like. So when is this official date? Then?
17th of December 2021.
So by the time
already be out, aye.
by the
Yes.
time this now we've ruined the magic entirely.
Sorry.
That was my fault. So by the time this recording comes out, it'll have been out, and hopefully you'll have sold very well. And then you can be like, why the fuck did we come on this podcast?
Yep.
So what about any future kind of developments? You're just gonna wait and see if you can get out to touring again. And
So
stuff
we're gonna get
to
that
back
out.
it up?
And then we just started trying to get back into the studio to get a live show together because we did get offered a really nice show with friends of ours, and we were just not ready for it. We were not prepared to take a show on this early. So we thought, we'll get back in, oil the joints up, write some new material, and just see what we can do. But at this point, it's get this out, see if everybody still remembers us,
Yep.
and then get on it and see what happens.
Yeah, definitely, guys. So we are starting to come up on time, and I always hate when I have to come up on time because I don't like to leave my guests because you guys are your sound as.
Thanks, mate. So are you.
Thanks, man. I'm like the only ginger in the world that people have said, that they're not the worst. And the only one that they say is the worst is Ed Sheeran, so I'll take that. Because I do try, it's also about kind of mental health and stuff like that. I always ask this to my guests. If you could give one piece of advice to anybody that's struggling with mental health issues at this point in time, what would that piece of advice be and why?
Get help straight away. I say, if you're feeling like things aren't going your way, go and get help. But don't. And I would honestly say, don't rely entirely on the NHS. Go private if you can afford it, because the sooner you get on top of it, the better. And
There's a lot of places out there as well. There's a lot of places that will go from kind of charity-based stuff that even if you have to speak out to your doctor in the first place just to maybe get a referral, there's a lot of places that can see people pretty quickly that are run by charities, and there are a lot of non-profits, and they'll take a lot of people's kind of circumstance into consideration with that.
Yeah, I do agree entirely with you about saying don't just go NHS, because when I took my bad breakdown and I had to be removed from my family for 6 weeks, I went private, and I was very, very fortunate that I was able to go private and I was able to afford to do it.
Exactly.
But it was the best thing that ever happened to me.
Yeah.
And it's made me so much better.
Yeah, and
I'm really grateful.
definitely advice I've given to people as well was like the sooner you kind of get on top of it, because sometimes it feels like nothing's going to help, and as soon as you get someone who just goes, "You're all right, mate," who you don't know, because then you're getting that impartial advice for people, and that's the most important.
Sometimes everybody says, I don't want to talk to a stranger, but that's usually what you need.
I think so, yeah.
Because your family and your friends, as much as they care about you, sometimes they're too invested in you.
Yeah.
Like if you have, in my case, I was like, I'm done with this earth. I'm going to kill myself. And everybody just says, that's really selfish. But in your head,
It's not what you need.
but in your head, that's the most, at the time, that's the most selfless thing that you're thinking of doing, because you think you're burdening everybody and dropping everybody down. And that they would get on so much better if you went around.
Yeah.
That wasn't my case. But it took someone from outside of it going, no, you have value and you have a purpose. Your purpose, in my case at that point, it's to get back to your wife and your kids.
Aye.
And it gave me that laser focus to get back to them. So I totally understand it.
Yeah.
Guys, you have been absolutely brilliant to have on. Since Role's been sitting a wee bit quiet, I'm going to let him round off with probably what would you say is your kind of final piece of advice for anybody that's struggling?
But for mental health,
yeah,
I think I would share the sentiments with these guys, but just talking about it is the biggest thing. But for me personally, it's finding something to kind of cling back onto. So say you said your family was a big thing for you. It's funny because it's kind of bringing it full circle to when I joined these guys. Before I was in Monkey Puzzle, I had stopped playing music entirely and was in a job that I thought was dead end, and I was fucking miserable, if I'm being honest with you.
Still there, my friend.
Aye. Smoking hash and just kind of sitting in my room and not doing anything. And then I got reached out to join playing with these guys, and it was like rediscovering something that I forgot that I loved, which is playing music. And that kind of put me back for the brink. I don't think I was in as a dark place as maybe yourself was, but it's just feeling miserable.
As someone said to me when I was on it, everybody's journey is significant to them. Because I was the same. There was a guy that his life could have been turned into an Oscar-winning movie because it was so bad, that it was so much pain and suffering. And I said, I've not been through half of what you went through. And he said, don't do that, because everybody's journey is a struggle, and you've all got your own struggles and your own demons to deal with. And I really, you haven't said much, because you're like I can sense you're kind of like me in a way, like you're kind of quiet, introspective, and keep the thoughts in. So the fact that you were able to even say that, I really do appreciate it. I've got nothing but respect for you. Thank you so much. Guys, you've been an absolute blast to have on. And I really hope that he's come back, and we just bring in Lewis, we'll just pop him up like an Amazon delivery, and just have him like that.
Chances are, if you have us on again, one of us will be the person that's getting parted in. It's you're only three's a good number.
Yeah,
one of us is normally going to be out.
You're lucky all four of us are at a show,
Then that just bad life.
That's it, man.
Guys, I've got nothing but respect for you. Like the stuff that I've heard, your music, is absolutely brilliant. But
Thank you, man.
I am that 2000s new metal head. I've never left 2004.
Our music is for guys that never grew up. So
absolutely,
that's pretty much me. But not in the Michael Jackson way, guys. It's just no, even though I still don't think he did it. But I never grew up, man. I think that's probably a good thing. You got to hold on to something that keeps you around, and as long as you guys like yourselves and Weedy and they're keeping kind of Scottish music alive, and taking it to that next level, I think we're going to be all right.
Thanks so much, man.
Appreciate it.
So until next time, my faithful followers, I've been Andrew Durning. This has been Monkey Puzzle. Again, drop your names.
Oh, me first. Connor.
I'm Ross.
And I'm Luke. And Lewis isn't here, but
And Lewis is
sends his best wishes.
Lewis is here. He will be called out. But until next time, first of all, go and check out their music, go and check out their stuff, and go and support them when we can get back into gigs. And take care. Stay safe. Bye bye.